Kelton Thomas joins us this morning. He's the project manager of the Tobago Crab Farm, who's going to be telling us a lot more. Good morning, Kelton, and welcome.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. How are you doing? And good morning to the viewers out there.
I'm well, thank you. It's wonderful to have you on the show. Hoping that your morning is going well so far. I know we have you up bright and early, but definitely for a great conversation. So let's get straight into it. What is the inspiration behind the Tobago Crab Farm?
As I said, good morning again. The inspiration behind the Tobago Crab Farm is sort of multifaceted in the sense that the national policy on sustainable development approached the Canaan One Accord villagers, and basically this apparently has been something going on for a few years, and we were challenged with the task of forming a committee, and this committee is formed from all the stakeholders within our community. So we have persons from faith-based organizations, we have entrepreneurs, we have persons from sports clubs, and a wide variety of persons. So we got together and formed a community sustainable development committee. And as I said, we were challenged with the task of coming up with innovative ideas for sustainable development within our community. So as we put our heads together, the committee came up with the idea of maintaining our culture and heritage in the form of food sustainability, as well as preserving our culture. And the best thing that everyone voted on was basically the crab farm idea. So because Canaan One Accord is well noted for its curry crab and dumpling, and me being a part of that committee, I said to them very early on, I said, I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, I don't eat crab. So, but they said, you are the expertise in terms of aquatic management and so on. And so I just sort of pitched my ideas in, and together we put our heads together, and we came up with the crab farm idea, and we said we wanted to see this to fruition, to make sure that it happened. And so that's the main thing behind it. Of course, we wanted to create employment as well as you have spin-offs from this crab farm, and which we're well on the way to seeing that come to reality.
Oh, fantastic to hear. This is such a brilliant idea, I have to say, first of all. So hats off to you and the entire team for coming together and definitely bringing that decisive vote and bringing it into action. But let's talk about where the farm is located, because Kelton, the farm is located at Baku Historical Park and Nature Center. Why was this chosen for crab farming?
Well, a couple of reasons. One, it's ideally close to where the crabs naturally breed. And what we set out to do is to recreate a natural environment so that the crabs can feel at home. The nature park itself is a historic park. A lot of historical artifacts on that bits of land owned by the Skeets family, and it has been preserved as such. And Mr. Skeet, being the manager or chairman of his family's company, wanted to make sure that there was nothing unnatural that would be placed within the park. Everything had to go with what the park had set out to do. So the crab farm, when we explained to him the idea behind it, he was very much in support of preservation of our culture and in creating employment and so on. So he had no hesitation in supporting the effort by the Canaan One Accord Compound Sustainable Development Committee.
Again,
and of course, sorry.
No, continue, by all means.
No, I just said, of course, we had to partner with a lot of our other NGOs and so on within our environment, like the Canaan One Accord Sports Club, and of course, on board sponsored, the main sponsor for our project was Digital Foundation and Shell Trinidad and Tobago. But as I said, when the idea was pitched to Dr. Knights and her team at the policy on sustainable community development. I mean, they loved it and they asked us to please run with it and make sure this thing comes to reality. So we were quite thrilled about doing this. And the thing is, the model that we are using has never been actually tried before. So there are other models in crab farming, but we decided to try the most natural method of farming these crabs.
Well, it's fantastic they've also chosen the most natural method as well. So we could see the beginning of a brand new trend when it comes to crab farming in Tobago. So again, another congratulations to you and the team and all of the stakeholders who are taking part. It's wonderful to hear that everybody is on board for this. And of course, this is something that we are going to see reinvesting into the economy of Tobago. Now, let's get into the details of the crabs, because on screen, we saw a lot of blue crabs. Is that the only species of crab that we're seeing in this particular crab farm, or do you have other crabs?
At the moment, the blue crab is the only one we are focusing on farming because it's the most widely caught crab. And of course, one of the main things behind farming the blue crabs is that we have observed over the years. I mean, as a little boy, I remember having crabs with fins almost as large as my hands. I mean, at the time I was small, but basically what we're trying to say is that the size of the crabs have dwindled over the years in terms of both in numbers and in size. And when you speak to the persons in authority, like in agriculture or food production, we realize that the authorities have no standard size of crabs that can be sold in the marketplace. And that's a challenge for us. So what we have set out to do is also to breed these crabs in captivity, to secure the numbers, and also to secure that the crabs can get to a marketable size. We have approached the Division of Food Production here in Tobago House of Assembly, and they are fully supportive of us and our efforts. And so at the end of our experiment, let's say in 7 months' time, we would measure the crabs that we have bred or that we have raised. And we hope that a policy would be formed based on the size of crabs that we present to them, and not just the size, but the weight as well. And hopefully that will be used as a standard size. Policy could be formed for that, so crabs can be sold in the marketplace and wherever. Because as we know, people all over Trinidad and Tobago, I mean, as I said, love their curry crab and dumpling and so on. So we don't want to take away anybody's livelihood. We just want to make sure that baby crabs, and especially female crabs with eggs and so on, are not being sold. And the recommended standard size should be a standard size, so everyone has the same sort of size of crabs to be sold.
So, Kelton, you just mentioned two things that we need to touch on. First of all, you mentioned securing the numbers. Now, what are your expectations for crab production right now?
I wouldn't even say it's ambitious, but if you look at how crabs breed, especially blue crabs, I mean, the crabs only mate once. The female crabs mate once in their lifetime, and they have the ability of storing sperm so that they can fertilize their eggs. We say they do it with the moon. Each female crab can carry up to 2 million eggs, and those eggs are fertilized periodically. As I said, it's done with the moon. In the first batch, she probably released 200, 300,000 eggs, and over a period of time, those eggs would be released based on the sperms that she has stored. So in terms of numbers, even if you have quarter of that amount reaching adulthood, because they would be in a controlled environment and would not be left to the elements where they will be either cannibalized or eaten by anything in the water that they would normally be in their natural habitat. We envision that we would have a great number. So before the end of the year, we are hoping and we think that we should have roughly about 100,000 crabs in the crab ponds and counting, because we started off with about 20,000 crabs. We put them in at a ratio of 3 to 1, so 3 females to 1 male. And of course, the males mate with different females throughout their lifetime. So hence the reason we use that sort of ratio. So realistically, if you think about each of those females carrying, let's say, 1 million eggs, and in the period of, let's say, 4 moons, they've released 500,000 eggs. Do the maths. Even if we count for the losses, we still will safely have 100,000 crabs in those ponds by the end of the year.
Now, that is a remarkable number to hear. Now, that's also going to be a lot of products. So tell us something, Kelton. How are you looking at selling this? Is it going to be via wholesale or via retail?
Well, we want to cater for the whole market because, as I said, let me just touch back on something. We are hoping we will be taking all the crabs from the crab catchers and sellers that we see on the side of the road. And because, as I said, we want to make sure that the crabs will go to their full adult size before they are marketed. So we're not taking away the livelihood of the crab catchers. They will always have a market for their crabs, which will be us. And then we would be aiming for the local market for the traditional type of crabs, which we'll be culling and cleaning and even seasoning. And so you will have that style of crab. And one of the things we'll be doing is the meat extraction. We have the persons who are trained and skilled in extracting the meat so that we can have just the pure Tobago crab meat sold on the market as well. And we're hoping that eventually will go international because we would have the stock and the numbers to do that. If you look online now, you'd see that the price of crab meat has been sold between $35 and $47 a pound. So if we can, ambitiously, if we can harvest roughly, let's say, 10,000 pounds of crab meat within a season, I think we can have a decent turnover in terms of profit. And as I said, and these will be proper sized crabs where you can have enough meat to extract. So for the persons who are crab lovers and love their crab meat, as I said, I don't partake in it, but it'll be good to know that you have a safe number. The environment will definitely benefit because the crabs will definitely be going to their fullest potential, full adulthood, and so everybody will be happy. It's a win-win situation the way we look at it.
It definitely is a win-win situation, and this has been a fantastic conversation. Kelton, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Looking forward to having you on the show again so we can see how the crab farm is going. Have an excellent day.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
Kelton Thomas, project manager of the Tobago Crab Farm this morning, sharing with us what's going on and what we can look forward to. There's more coming up on the show. Stay tuned.